Hey guys, welcome to the stream. I decided to start a couple minutes early because I was getting impatient, but I wanted to talk about a few different issues today, as well as YouTube removing views from my video or my stream that I had on yesterday. And I knew something was going to happen to it, most likely, but I had one video up last night, of a screen of the video that I had open. It had like 300 views, right? Or it was like this morning. And then I opened up like another tab and I went and I looked, and the same video had 283 views. So something like 20, 30, 40 views were removed from the video. Now, I don't know why that is. It seems kind of odd to me, but there's definitely some manipulation going on. And maybe they're like, oh, we're removing the bot views or something like that, right? But that doesn't, I highly doubt that is the case. And I find it really odd that I have all these views removed from my video. But that's the case. That's YouTube. What do you expect? But let me check out the chat here. Hey, Tired Canadian, how's it going, buddy? Hey, Public Account. Hey, Battle for Canada's Ghost. Hey, Fox, how's it going? Yeah, Chupa decided he's being a little bastard again today, but what do you expect with him? Who cares about views? Well, I know, right? But it's just interesting that you see the views being removed. I don't know. I don't care necessarily about the view count, right? But if you see a direct manipulation of it, then you're like, okay, that's kind of interesting. But I have some proof right here. Let me share the screen. But see, let me open this. But this is, see, streamed 10 hours ago, right? And had 308 views, right? And this stream I did yesterday. 308 views. And then that's later on today. But then this one, it has 282 views, and it was streamed 12 hours ago, right? So this is 2 hours later, but it has now less views than this video that is 10 hours ago. And you're like, I was like, what the fuck? Why does it have like 30 odd less views? That makes absolutely no sense. So YouTube is definitely fucking with me, fucking with the algorithm, or the, not the algorithm, but the view count. And yeah, like there's proof right there for you. There's proof. There's clear proof. 10 hours ago, I had 308. 12 hours or 2 hours later, I have 283 or something. So what the fuck is going on? I know YouTube's been messing with me for like a little while. I've noticed stuff like this. I hear from Fredrick that sometimes I'll hit like, and I'll have to hit like on my videos multiple times. So I think what they're doing, instead of just outright censoring people, is they'll do that too, but they'll also do a lot of manipulation, just try to keep you out of the algorithm to lower your view count. Because if you have more views and likes on your video, then it boosts the potential for more people to see it, right? But if you remove the likes, remove the stuff like this, then it's not going to go into the algorithm, and it's going to get seen by less people. And I'm sure a lot of the notifications aren't getting set for some people. How many years behind are we? Approve. The title of the live stream is just begging YouTube to not send this live notification around. Oh well, like, I'll take your advice, I guess, buddy. Pretty dirty, but my shit's getting manipulated already. Like I said, my video was already manipulated, and you got to be crafty and stuff with the tags and titles now. But it's weird because sometimes I'll see videos that have, Notre Dame conspiracy, blah blah, and I'll have like tons of views and all of this shit. So it doesn't seem to. It seems to be kind of like subjective the way it applies it. I just commented on Notre Dame one. Maybe you won't stay. I said, since the praise the burning, I have to be honest, New Zealand made me smile. Good question. Hey, T-Nova, how's it going? But yeah, so there is I have direct proof of YouTube manipulating my shit there. And of this video, see, like I said, 10 hours ago, and then 2 hours later, it has less views. So what do you expect? But I got a bunch of other stories lined up that I want to talk about. So one of the first ones, CBC, meat in the environment. Do Canadians know what's at stake? So more propaganda telling people to eat less meat because it's bad for the environment. It's one of the best ways to reduce it. And they're talking about, oh, the good thing is companies are already starting to make alternatives. And I saw the same day this article pop up. Kirkland signature brand veggie burgers recalled. Harvest Burgers may have pieces of metal in the product, CFIA says. So, yeah, don't buy veggie burgers. First of all, this type of processed shit is probably worse for you than any type of meat, right? And, I was thinking about meat consumption the other day, and how nowadays we're much taller than we used to be, than our ancestors were back in the day, right? Like, when there's this museum in Winnipeg, and you go on these boats and you see all the beds for people back in the day, they were like very small because people were on average like 5 feet, 5'5", because they were malnourished, because they weren't eating tons of meat. But if you look since the 1960s and so on and so forth, and even before that, we've been increasing our consumption of meat dramatically. And this is why you see today, like, probably not just the hormones in the meat and stuff, but kids are so much taller than their parents, and they grow bigger and stuff because we're eating more meat. So if we reduce the consumption, we start eating the stuff with metal in it, we're not going to be any healthier, right? We need to reduce the population size. That's what it really comes down to. We need to reduce the population size, not by any violent measures, but stop the massive redistribution of wealth that is fueling this to begin with. And meat itself isn't the problem, because we are shipping like food, like vegans, they eat food from all over the world. You get it shipped from place to place, and it's not more efficient than if people were to eat cows and pigs that are local, that are not too far from where they live. It takes less fuel, less gas to bring this stuff over, and we don't need to eat as varied as diets as we seem to think we do, right? That's one of the things, right? It's like, why do we really need such a varied diet? All other animals don't eat such a varied diet. They don't really need to. And this is probably what is causing a lot of our different problems, illnesses, and digestion problems, etc., because we're eating food that is not really adaptable for humans per se. Maybe some people can handle it more than others, but most tribal societies eat meat. 60-70% of their diet, and it's like carbohydrates and stuff. And these cultures were often way healthier than the people from the agricultural revolution, the people who are living 5,000-6,000 years ago, but were living off of wheat and stuff like that, right? That they were often shorter, less healthy than the tribes that were able to get sufficient amount of food in their area and eat lots of meat and stuff, right? And they have good teeth and healthy bones and almost no diseases whatsoever. They barely have like heart disease, heart attacks, etc. So we need to go back to a simpler diet, I think. And that also will reduce, that's how you figure out, you reduce your diet, you simplify it, then you can start adding more stuff to it, because then you'll because it's hard to tell what is causing your body to have a certain reaction. It could appear a week, 2 weeks from now. And if you're eating tons and tons of different types of food, then it's going to be hard to pinpoint what it was. Was it the grapes you ate? Was it this bar you ate, etc. But if you are to simplify it, then it would be better. And if you think about meat itself too, all meat really is the same, right? You know what I mean? Like it has pretty much the same nutritional value content, and all different meats has the same amount of nutrients. If you eat liver, it's from a pig, from a cow, from a this, from a that. Like some livers as animals you don't necessarily want to eat, but they're all packed with nutrients, right? But with vegetables, it's not really the case. And then a lot of them are not actually digestible. And I'm not saying don't eat vegetables. Don't take, first of all, dietary advice from me. This is me just kind of going off the cuff and thinking about, health and evolution and what is the diet for humans. There probably isn't necessarily a specific one, but I do think it does consist more of meat. But we start to see a lot of people now saying, eat less meat, this and that, for the environment, have less kids, do this, right? And I just don't trust the source that's telling me to do this stuff, because they're telling me to do a lot of stuff that seems to be bad for my health, seems to be bad for my culture, seems to be bad for my people, right? Whenever you see the articles from CBC, have less children for the climate, it's all white babies, it's all white people. The majority of vegans are white people, white women. It's all being pushed to these types of people and shit. And it just makes them unhealthy, lethargic, and and also it's just really good for corporations. If you think about it, you're just buying a lot of this stuff, like kale and all these superfoods. They're not even that healthy for you. I think kale, found out it's not even that healthy for you, but it's just a marketing scheme. They tell you like, oh, it's really healthy, put it in all your smoothies, ruin all of your food with this bitter fucking taste, right? Throw it in your smoothies to ruin them. But then you find out, oh wait, it's actually not as good as people say it is, right? And then it's just buy this product, buy this, buy these seeds that are like $10 for like a little handful of seeds, but don't worry, they're really good for you and they're gonna make you extremely healthy. So it's like, no, just eat food, eat enough food. I don't know, fucking go buy a liver or something like that. Let me check out the chat here. Stay away from soy. Yeah, exactly. Soy. Try almond milk. That's disgusting. Almond milk is disgusting. Yeah, well, Jamie, you always want me to talk about a lot of shit, but for some reason he doesn't. Man, I've talked about lots of stuff, but you're just trying to push me further and further, right? I don't know if you're like a plant. Are you a plant man? Are you working for Mossad? Are you a Hasbarat person? Are you working for Hasbarat? Are you one of these university students working for Israel, going to chats and be like, oh, this and that? I don't know, man. I don't think you're a real deal. You're anonymous, right? So, Jamie Demeter, I'll search your name and see if I can find you. Can I find you? Can I search up your name? Look you up? Are you anonymous? If you really care, if you really want people to speak up about things, maybe you should take the reins and fucking do it. Okay, so YouTube. Let me see here. Searching your name. So what do you got? James Demeter, right? Okay, so you got your YouTube 2 years ago, 5 years. So why aren't you making content? Watchmen, alternate ending. Troy. Let's see here. See, I don't see any content about Jewish people here. Oddly enough, all I see is, oh, for fuck's sakes, not responding. Hold on. One moment. It's that fucking, whenever I go to share screen, sometimes it does that. I don't know if you guys can see or if it's lagging for you right now, but right now it's saying Not responding. Come on. So hold on a second, guys. Oh my god, my computer keeps messing up whenever I'm doing streams lately. I don't know why it's doing that. Hopefully you guys can see everything at the moment, because for me it's just saying like not responding. That's what happens. See, you're a fucking agent for Mossad. You know, you fuck up my computer as soon as I open it. Hmm. Of course this is gonna happen here. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys can even see what's going on right now. Uh, New window, maybe? Yeah, nothing's responding right now. Well, hopefully you guys can see the chat. Hmm. That's not good. Hey. Oh, oh my God. Okay, I think I'm back now. Can you guys hear me? Oh, thank you, Rainy Steps. Jesus Christ. You know, I blame fucking what's his name? Jamie. Jamie. Jamie fucked up my shit. Yeah, that's your real name, but I don't see your face. I don't see you talking about uh Jewish people. I don't see any of that. Fuck, sorry about that, guys. What's its name? I blame Jamie there. His it was his account essentially that fucked over my shit. But Jamie Demeter, I looked at your channel and I don't see any content about anything. So why aren't you talking about it? Hey, why aren't you talking about the issues? You know, it's really easy to go to other people and be like, hey, man, you need to talk about this and you need to talk about this and that. But, you know, it's harder to do it yourself. And people think everybody has the same amount of knowledge and information, right? I don't like to speak about things I don't have 100% surety of, but I'm willing to call out things which I've had in the past and be like, well, this is kind of interesting, whatnot. But you know, people seem to think we all have the same amount of knowledge, which is just ignorant, and we don't, right? But thank you again for the donation, Rainy Steps. I really appreciate that, man, and hope you're having a great day. A happy Easter so far. But yeah, that's just kind of my take on it. Is that I see a lot of people trying to say, "Hey, talk about this, talk about that," but they're not doing it themselves. So if you don't do it yourself, then really you can't really judge too much of other people, and you can't assume they know everything that you know. And a lot of, you know, shit that people all right say anything anyways is wrong and not true either way. So if you ever put tuna in a potato salad, my son told me it was a big mistake. Yeah, no, I would not do that. I would definitely not do that. But thanks for sticking around, guys. I don't know. I've had some fucking issues lately with my computer. It's been slow. I think it's when I go to screen share sometimes. Okay, see, let me screen share again. But see, Jamie, I see your channel. And you got William Shatner brilliantly describes UFOs and the nature of reality. Superman 3 credits, fan edit, astral projection caught on camera during a YouTube vlog. Let's see this. Well, see, you're getting the big questions here, man. You're really hitting them hard about the JQ and the chosen people in this one. But yeah, you know, like I said, it's easy to say what you want, and I don't even know what the fuck this is. Astral projection. He just has his face blurred. So yeah, you know, that's what you're talking about. So this is funny. Canada US gets on board as it moves to update gender info on Nexus cards. So draft reports suggest department use MF and X as identifiers. Canada Border Agency is about to shake up the way it tracks sex and gender information, which could lead to some awkward conversations with Washington. For the past 2 years, the federal government has been looking into how to introduce a third gender identifier across federal departments, something beyond checking off male or female on a form. So this is the big thing that Canada is trying to do right now. Like, this is the monumental achievement of the Trudeau government, pandering to like 15 transgender people and a bunch of SJWs in Canada. And you're not going to push to get the tariffs removed, but you're going to spend money to get to get to go and try to negotiate with Washington to get them to, put X on their fucking thing, or to allow it, or to be educated on it. It's really just probably just a money scheme, right? Because they're like saying all these people need to be trained and they need to learn how to do this and learn this. So it's like it's probably just some group that's like, oh, we want to get paid to teach people about diversity, blah blah blah. What was this? Calgary group looks into solution after Syrian girl 9 dies by suicide. So parents say Amal Ash, whatever the fuck her name is, took her own life after being bullied for months. So that's sad, right? That's terrible. Not a good thing. But it wasn't bullied by our kids. It was bullied by other Arab kids. The suicide of the 9-year-old Syrian girl last month has organizations in Calgary scrutinizing their many services for newcomers in hopes of preventing future tragedies. What about all the native kids and stuff killing themselves and whatnot? There's not a lot of restructuring going on there, or, what's going on in other communities and stuff. But, this is the problem. See, we take all these people in, then shit happens, and now we got to pay for it. We got to deal with it. And, I don't even really trust it. Like, I don't trust, maybe these parents hung their own kid. Like, I don't know. Family told CBC News the girl took her own life after bullying at her Northeast school went unrecognized, unchecked, and unreported for around 6 months. Friends of the family say that could be because concerns raised with the school were lost in translation, and much of the bullying was done in Arabic, so went unnoticed by English-speaking staff. So it's like, oh, it's all your English-speaking staff's fault. You need to hire more diverse staff that can understand Arabic, and then these things won't happen. That's pretty much what they're going to get at. They were saying to her, you're stupid, you're a monster, you're ugly. Whatever you wear, you will still not look beautiful. You will always look ugly your whole life, said Amal's brother, Abadallah, who is in grade 5. Amal leaves behind 5 brothers and sisters, as well as her mother and father. So, 5 brothers and sisters. So 6 kids they came here with. This is how many people. And you know what? They're probably getting a child tax credit for each and every single one of those kids. And they're probably going to use that to buy a fucking home. It's really hard. Now it's really silent because she's not here. That is sad, right? Learn from my story that the girl's death is raising questions about the support and education available for newcomer families to deal with bullying, regarding how to identify problems and access help. The bullying began, her parents say, when Amal started struggling at school. It's sad, right? That any kid, doesn't matter who they are, deserves to it's sad if they were driven to the point of suicide at such a young fucking age, right? But either I don't really trust the parents too much. Maybe they did fucking something. Maybe they I don't know, beat her too much, or it just shows you how fucking sickening some of these kids and shit can be from other cultures and stuff, right? I saw something where there was a bunch of like Arab kids that like raped some other like 6-year-old, and they're all like 7, 8-year-olds and stuff, right? It's like, how do you don't, that type of stuff did not happen in Canada before a lot of this stuff started coming here, right? But there was some more, like, what is it, like mob of teen rampages through downtown Chicago. So a mob of teenagers numbering in the hundreds flooded downtown Chicago on Thursday, attacking people, stealing from stores, and erupting in fistfights. Police struggled to stop them, reports indicate. The teens first began their unruly behavior in the City Millennials Park off of Michigan Avenue. But once police arrived, the teens fanned out towards other shopping districts, such as State Street and Lake, Chicago's CBS affiliated reported. Some reports noted that police were deferential to the kids and only a few arrests were made, but the teens were defiant and violent. So, this is the thing, right? Under Obama, there was like, oh, see, there's a massive decrease of arrests for black people and an increase for white people. Because I remember like some leftists were showing these, see, actually white crime is on the increase and black crime is on a decrease. Yeah, because the police departments are pretty much told like stand down, to not arrest for a lot of stuff. There was that whole thing that created that Cruz killer kid that allowed him to get through and get a gun and all that stuff was where they're only going to give like kids like black kids and Hispanics and minorities a slap on the wrist, specifically them, so then it decreases the prison or the school to prison pipeline. So they're getting let off with violent behavior oftentimes, like attacking people, doing all this shit, right? There's another story right here in Ottawa. Man who killed Ottawa cyclist obstructed justice because he feared racist police, avoids jail time. So this is fucked up, man. Really? And the length this guy went to hide the fact that he killed the fucking kid with the bike is clearly, and he said, "Oh, I had no idea I even hit somebody. I just kept driving." But, he got a new paint job. He got all of this. He covered it in a tarp. He went to such a high length, but they just gave him like, oh, well, he was worried that a racist police were going to give him a hard time. So that's why he didn't report the crime. And he gets off with 3 months community service or whatever, right? And you're like, well, this is insane. An Ottawa landscaper who covered his tracks and hid from police after a deadly hit and run has been spared jail time by a judge who accepted his explanation that a fear of turning himself in was heightened because he's a man of color, afraid of racist police. In 2015, Andy Nevin, 39, was cycling along Leitrim Road when Deansburg St. Hilaire's pickup truck smashed into him. St. Hilaire was found not guilty of dangerous driving causing death in 2018, but pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice. During his trial, so like why wasn't he guilty of dangerous driving? During his trial, court, but see, these types of things are going to get buried. I found this on Gab, right? And Gab was sharing this. But you can be sure as hell if it was a white guy that got off with this type of crime and he ran into a black person, it'd be all over leftist media. It would be all over these activist leftists on Twitter and whatnot, being like, look at this, see how the white man gets off with killing black people and plain justice. It's like, see the Boucher case, blah, blah, blah. So during his trial, court heard that St. Hilaire went to substantive lengths to hide his involvement in Nevin's death. The maximum penalty for obstruction of justice is 2 years in prison, but Ontario Supreme Court Justice Catherine Atkins instead, so see, a woman judge. That's why we shouldn't have women judges. I'm sorry, women, but there's too many of you guys that ruin it. Not to say that some men judges don't have sentences like this, but they're the ones that are going to believe this stupid bullshit. Instead, sentence St. Hilaire to 100 hours. 100 hours. What? That's it? 100 hours of community service. In a conditional sentence delivered Wednesday, the judge also gave St. Hilaire a curfew of 10 p.m. for 1 year. Oh, unless it's snowing. She wanted to accommodate his winter snowplow job. The judge noted that St. Hilaire's fear of racist police was connected to past traffic stops where he said he'd been treated unfairly. You know why black people get pulled over more by police? It's because they speed more than white people. That's why. That's one of the main reasons. Though the Ottawa police don't normally comment on rulings, Chief Charles Bordelot issued a rare statement on Wednesday. It's unfortunate these comments were made, putting into question the professionalism of our members during this difficult investigation. Right? So yeah, they're being like, the police are racist, right? And then he got let off for this. While the judge said and the judge is pretty much agreeing with the guy and saying, yeah, the police are racist. The Ottawa police, they are racist. So you're right. We're gonna give you a couple months. We're like, and this is the fucking like high up judge saying this shit. But the judge also said St. Hilaire failed to do the right thing after hitting Nevin and showed a blatant lack of respect for Nevin's grieving family. So it's like, just more Jesse Smollett type shit where the judge knows they're guilty, but just decides to either not convict them or give them like a really small fine. His silence in an effort to conceal the crime only added to the hurt. of the family, the judge said. Yeah, well, you obviously don't care. St. Hilaire never stopped his vehicle after striking Nevin, who was thrown some 60 feet off his bike and into the ditch where he was left to die alone. So you know what, man? If you would have stopped, maybe you could have helped the guy and he'd be alive. But I guess it was good that he left and didn't stay and left the scene of a crime, right? Left the fucking scene of the crime, but he's only being charged with obstruction of justice. That's it. He's not being charged with dangerous driving, leaving the scene of a crime. None of that. Are you kidding me? Like, the judge accepted St. Hilaire's story during trial that he fell asleep at the wheel only to be awoken by a loud bang. He kept on driving when he checked the rear view mirror and saw nothing amiss. He was doing 80 kilometers an hour in a 50-kilometer zone. It was 5:55 a.m. and he was returning from a wedding party after party. He testified he'd only had one glass of wine the entire night. So he was doing 80 kilometers an hour in a 50-kilometer zone at 6 a.m. after a wedding party, and he only had one glass of wine, apparently. He was clearly up all night drinking, speeding, 50-kilometer zone, 30-kilometer difference. Being hit with this compared to this is a huge fucking difference. And if he was going the speed limit and wasn't drunk, the guy would be alive. And even if he left the scene of the crime, he'd probably may have survived his fucking things. But he was going 80 and killed the guy. And I wonder what race of the guy he killed was, right? It was his brother's wedding. We can understand, right? If it was a black, white guy who got let off for hitting and running a black man, you know what the media, what would be going on right now after being awake for 22 hours. So yeah, but he only had one glass of wine. When Justice Aitken delivered her not guilty verdict, she called it a circumstantial case and said the Crown fell short of proving St. Hilaire's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And when the judge announced on Wednesday that she should spare St. Hilaire a jail sentence, Kerry Nevin, Andy's father, walked out of the court in disgust. He said his son deserved better. There is no justice for Andy. I understand vigilantism these days because the justice system doesn't work. This whole process has been madness. It's been insanity from the beginning, he said. The days following Nevin's death were long and horrible for his family. While they were making funeral plans, court heard St. Hilaire was covering his tracks in a most calculated way. He tarped the truck that was all over the news, had it repaired, and took it to the car wash. He also went into hiding and checked into a motel out by the airport. So how could the judge buy his story when he went through all of these lengths to go hide when, he said he was drunk and didn't even know he hit anybody, right? Like that's insane. Ottawa police detectives worked the case around the clock and had St. Hilaire under surveillance before arresting him 9 days after the hit and run. Those days were hard. Nevin family who said they wished St. Hilaire had owned up to what had happened. So, the police got all this evidence on him to prove that, and it's fucked, man. At a sentencing earlier this year, they described St. Hilaire as a heartless monster and asked how he sleeps at night. But yeah, it's not good. Went to church and had endured. Okay, so the grieving Nevin family said they felt the judge spent too much time painting a sympathetic portrait of the man who killed their son. Instead of talking about him, the judge outlined how St. Hilaire went to church and had endured racism and bullying in the schoolyard growing up because he was a poor black immigrant. And this is the future, guys. Our court cases, our law, our system is going to be continuously not in our favor. And there's going to be eventually juries full of people of non-white people exonerating people that are non-white, killing white people. That this stuff like pretty much already fucking happens. And then you get these activist judges like this going and making insane decisions to let this guy off. You know, it's literally insane. Let me check up the chat here. I haven't checked it for a little while, guys. Battle for Canada. I can't drink milk anymore for some reason. I hope I'm not transitioning into a soy boy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe you're becoming what do you call it? Let me go down the chat here. Yeah, I know, right? Lots of people grow up poor. Lots of people grow up suffering, I don't know, racism, discrimination, but that's just no excuse. But this is the way our system in Canada works, right? If you're Aboriginal, because of residential schools and racism and colonization, you get a lesser sentence. Even for murdering people, you'll get a lesser sentence. It's this dual law system where there's laws for some people and not laws for other people, and this can only go on for so long until people lose it. Getting sick of this. That's all right. Do it yourself, easy. Many phony money out there. Yeah, right. Fill form. They give you a fingerprint kit. That's all. Now I have to watch myself anymore. Someone needs a slap. But yeah, it's crazy how that guy got let off for that. Well, here's some more articles I got from CBC and whatnot. Oh, hold on. Did I even share the screen there? Okay. So there's that stupid law by Trudeau with the gender thing. Which one is this? Oh, yeah, that was that girl who died by the other Muslims. This is Ancestry had to remove their commercial. Ancestry.com removes commercial depicting slavery era. Look at me contain era story after backlash. So this triggered the left because they're like, no, she would have been raped by that white man. This is when virtue signaling goes wrong. Without you, the story stops here.
Uncover the lost chapters of your family history, ancestry. Get started for free at ancestry.ca.
No, they should have been raped in the ass. What do you mean? You stupid fucking white people.
Y'all seen the Ancestry commercial where a white man is telling a black woman they can run away and there's a place they can be together across the border? It's like, yeah, man, that probably did happen. Like, not all white people were just evil scum, like racist and shit. Like, some people did legitimately, have relationships. And then there's all these people, Ancestry.com, don't get this Harlequin romance revisionist nonsense out of here. But even though it's like they're trying to pander to them anyways, and it's funny, like, you got to do it. Like these people are they're gonna alienate like even these companies who just can't get it right. They keep trying to like pander to them, and then they get it slightly wrong. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Now, do one about the time I used your site and found the names of people my great-great-grandfather enslaved. Okay. You can't sit here, Rosa Parks. Why not, white man? Because you already have a place in my heart. Blah, that's kind of funny. How can we overly romanticize and create an irresponsible, ahistorical depiction of the relationship between white men and black women during the period of chattel slavery that completely disregards its power dynamics and the trauma of sexual exploitation? Like, these people are just ridiculous. And just kill yourself. Just fucking kill yourself. I have so many questions about this Ancestry commercial. 1, is she his slave? 2, is this a real story? 3, is she his slave? 4, did this test well in focus groups? 5, who were in these focus groups? 6, was there no other scenario that could illuminate the value of DNA testing? just don't even try to patter these people, man. Just don't. Just don't even try. While it's true that 1 in 4 black folks who test their male line through DNA end up finding a white man, it ain't because of no damn slavery love story. I'm so tired of y'all. You are literally romanticizing the surprise DNA results many black folks will get due to rampant sexual assault of black women during slavery and Jim Crow. This is so trash. So it's like, people, you're just so easily triggered. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. But I guess I can kind of understand. Maybe, I guess I can kind of get it if you're like, it does look like a love story or something, but they're mad because it's portraying white people as like not like a slave master piece of shit. Because this is a huge criticism that Black Americans, etc., have on movies and stuff, and even all the slave movies that we see today. And we're like, oh my God, another slave movie. To them, it's still not good enough because they're like, oh, but you always got one white savior in all these slave movies that kind of redeem white people, and it's always this like nice slave white person, and all these movies always have to have that because and then there was, I think, 12 Years a Slave that came out recently, and they're like, oh well, this is the first truish depiction because they're pretty much every American white person was like a piece of shit, so they're like, oh yeah, this is accurate, right? But whenever there's anything that gives white people kind of like a redeeming quality of any sort, or like, oh no, that's not what happened. It's like black people literally think, or like Americans and all that stuff, that they freed themselves. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's really crazy because it's without white people, nobody would be free. Like we would. If white people wanted people to be slaves, you would still be slaves, right? If we wanted slaves, the world would have been enslaved already, right? Like we had such an upstart on the rest of the world in like the early 1900s and stuff, like technologically, all this stuff. We could have like destroyed and stolen all the fucking shit we wanted to, but we didn't, right? We didn't. Kick the old white off. All right. Thank you for the donation, Rainy Steps, as well. I really appreciate it. Hey, J man, did you see the stabbing in Winnipeg in the Middle Easter cafe called Ramallah? It's so scary. No, I didn't see that. Stabbing Winnipeg. Hey man, it's just fucking woman arrested in Connecticut with North End stabbing. Police at the scene of an assault on Magnus Avenue, April 15. Winnipeg woman in custody after stabbing North End's Monday evening. Or Winnipeg's cafe stabbing suspect. Well, that's just another woman in the North End getting stabbed. Don't go to the North End, right? Winnipeg cafe stabbing suspect busted on the road near Kenora. Is that the person you're talking about? Called Ramalan. Okay. Let me look that up. Yeah, one sec, I'll find it. I live in Winnipeg, close to that cafe. Actually, owner stabbed another guy there, both from Middle East. The guy who dies only 20 years old. Hey, Burnout Rage. Liberia is a disaster. You're right, Rainy. It definitely is a disaster, right? And you see like Zimbabwe kicking out all the white people and then like begging to bring them back, like, please come back. But like I was saying before, though, it's like people think that they're like, white people did nothing. It's like, man, if it wasn't for a lot of white people considering black people human beings and being like, you know what, we should not just give rights to other white people, we should give it to all people and other people, right? If it wasn't for people like doing that, white people doing that, you would not be free, right? You would not be free. Like, people, they don't acknowledge that, right? They're like, it's not great, but it's like, man, if I don't think people also want to admit that as well, that like right now it's getting more even because our societies are slowly degrading and other ones are getting higher up or whatever. But at one point, and if we were pretty much right now allowed to be fully capitalistic, fully free like we used to be, we would once again be way ahead of everybody else. And it would be like, yeah, you know, we could take over the fucking world in such a small group, such a small percent. Like we've always been a minority on the planet, but that didn't stop us from colonizing and conquering the rest of the world, right? And I'm not saying we should do that. That's not something we should do, but it's something we could do, and we've done in the past, relatively, you know, easily, especially, you know, after World War II and even before that and stuff. You know, it was all these European powers fighting and stuff that had the better technology and you know, not China and stuff like that. I live close to the cafe. Oh yeah, but I see one Winnipeg cafe stabbing here. So let me go here. This might be it, I'm guessing. The man suspected in stabbing death of a Syrian refugee at a Winnipeg cafe was arrested at a traffic stop on an Ontario highway, said police. The stabbing, which resulted in the death of Yazin Al-Horrani, 20, and put another man in hospital, took place Monday night. The police said they believe an argument inside Ramallah Cafe escalated into a physical fight, at which point the two victims were stabbed. Ontario Provincial Police stopped the vehicle Tuesday afternoon on the highway east of Kenora. The driver was transported back to Winnipeg and towed over to local police. Winnipegger Mahfouz Asi, 20, has been charged with second-degree murder and attempted murder. Winnipeg police confirmed he's an employee of the cafe. So he works there. So I don't know, man. There probably some beef they had. The guy showed up to confront him there, I'm guessing. And they got fucking stabbed. See, look at this. Winnipeg homicides. See the pattern here? North End. See the pattern? You know? What the fuck? Like, I'm down here often too, man. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, this happened this year, right? On fucking Main Street. There was Johnny G's. This place got shot up. Homicide, Williams, homicide, James. See, you know, and there's a pattern. There's a pattern. Homicide, like Nairn, you know, and then that's about it, right? And you see, it's all relegated to the north fucking end, man. That's the crime. So pretty much, see, this place getting a little worse, right? Eugene, you know, even here, Southdale, there's fucking homicide. March 26th. What is this? What the fuck happened? When did this murder happen? South confirmed to be city. Say an adult woman is dead after being assaulted in her home Tuesday. What the fuck? Carver said police went to a home on Rockcliffe Road after 911 call about 10:45 a.m. There, they met the person who called 911 inside the home and found the woman's side of severe injuries. She was taken to hospital, later died. Carver stressed the investigators are still trying to put together a complex investigation and had very little information to release. Next to kin, only releasing an age range. 45, releasing her name. Oh, that's sad. So what happened? Carver couldn't say how the woman died, other to say that her injuries were severe and they resulted in her death. A neighbor who asked to remain anonymous told Global News the woman lived in the home with her teenage son, who he used to look after when he was younger. She was a nice lady, he said. I'd seen her every morning when I was walking outside. The man said police activity on the street is extremely rare. This was scary for something around here, he said. It's really unusual, right? It is very unusual. This is 11th homicide of the year, the 6th homicide in March. Carver said the homicide unit is doing everything they can to bring their A game. People that I did not expect to be able to talk today because they shouldn't be in the NRN. Leaves are being canceled. People are being called back. Any good news come on homicide is that so far the homicides are completely not connected. While there are some underlying issues, he said the drug and gang violence, the homicides are not part of a wider organized pattern of crime, but it's a high number for sure. So who the fuck killed her? Why? Was it a burglary? Was it this? Like, what the fuck? Like, trying to put complex. What was the person's name? Threat level to Winnipeggers not measurably high. And that was that one story a little while ago. But yeah, that's fucked up, man. Winnipeg. That's a random attack there. How's it going, Jerry? 2 in hospital. Canada News has it, but no video footage. I live close to the cafe, so I actually saw the place closed down and broken glass and everything. Okay, white people colonized. If we wouldn't have colonized, they would all still be living in teepees, grass huts, clay huts. Yeah, exactly, right? Poseidon allows use of his vids. Play. Clown World 09. We can all use a laugh. Honk, honk. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll do that. I'll go to Poseidon's video there. I was thinking of trying to get him maybe on my show or something. Yes, possibly. Poseidon. Let's see here. Okay, there he is. Clown World. Episode 9. Okay. Okay, share. Clown World. This is Poseidon. Go check out his channel. Ah! Oh! Just stand on the ladder, you fucking idiot. Set up the ladder. That's what it's for. Nice, nice. That was good. What was it? What else did I have up here? Oh yeah. There's another story. I might as well share. Let me check the chat for a second here. We spoil Avengers Endgame for you. No, don't. You're gonna get banned if you do that, Jamie. Same goes for all of them. I was on chat program. But yeah, you know, also something in the news, Trudeau being stupid again, ruining our relations with India. Sikh Indian minister slams Trudeau Liberals over knee-jerk changes to terrorism report. So the leader of India's Sikh majority Punjab state has slammed Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party after federal government removed direct references to Sikh extremism in a recent terrorism threat report. You know, so essentially he's saying he's like a threat to Indian globe security. You know, he's saying he's you know, pandering. Singh suggested that Trudeau was kowtowing to Sikh voters ahead of October's federal election, slamming the Liberals for what he called a knee-jerk decision that was clearly aimed at protecting its political interests in an election year. So I remember there's some remarks. It's obvious that Trudeau had played safe in view of the upcoming elections in Canada, giving in to pressure within his country, Singh said, adding that the move was likely to damage Canada's relation with India. So it's like, man, stop fucking up our relations with countries, you idiot. Trudeau is playing with fire in his decision to assuage inflamed domestic passions through this ill-considered move. He said, the world cannot afford to fan extremism in any form, which is what the Trudeau government was effectively doing with such ill-thought moves. So yeah, he's dumb. You know, he'll call out white supremacy, but he's gonna take away the Sikh extremism qualification so he doesn't alienate them. And I think, you know, what was it? There are roughly 500,000 Canadians who identify as Sikh, most of them in Greater Toronto area in the suburban Vancouver. So it kind of explains why he panders them so hard. 16 Sikhs were elected as Liberal MPs in 2015, with 4 of them currently in Trudeau's cabinet. So, you know, it's pretty obvious why he's pandering to these people. What is this here? Universities spend big on recruits and scramble for foreign students. Yeah, this article is just talking about how much universities spend to attract foreign students. Another article by CBC trying to tell you that immigration is good and that Canadians are lazy. Immigrant families more likely to own a home than add to pension plan, State Can said. So they're all like, yay. So yeah, you know, they're more likely to own a home. Because, yeah, there's a lot of rich Chinese that come here that buy up a lot of fucking homes as well. Or there's like 10, 15 of them living in a house. But, yeah, Canadians can't buy a home. And they're not contributing to the pension plan for older Canadians. They're here, right? And they're like, oh, but they're using this as like, this is great for Canada, right? You know, immigrant families who have been in Canada for more than 2 decades tend to be worth more than families who were born in the country. New data from Statistics Canada released Tuesday shows. So once again, they're also lumping in refugees and illegal aliens with immigrants that we brought into the country 20 years ago when we had a much different immigration policy plan as well. And granted, it still wasn't good back then either, but it was a little bit different. And we're not bringing in the same type of people. So using these qualifications or these statistics isn't going to be good. And even if immigrants produced more money than the native Canadians, that's no reason to replace us. And also, you know, we have a lot of diversity even before the immigration with Aboriginals and whatnot that also bring, I hate to say it, our numbers down as a whole. So when it comes to, but see, that's why you never really take these statistics too seriously. But you know, it's in they're buying homes and they're getting homes, increasing the prices for homes. And you see here, look at this is immigrants, their home ownership is rising above that of native born Canadians. On average, 69% of wealth increase for immigrant families can be traced to gains in the amount of equity that they have in their homes. That compares to 39% for native-born Canadians. On the flip side, so we're all renting, they're owning homes. On the flip side, 1/3 of the wealth gained from Canadian, because also, a lot of immigrants get, investment or are tax-free essentially, or they won't interest-free loans for like 3 years when a lot of immigrants come to Canada. So it's crazy the amount of extra stuff that people are given here in Canada if you're not born here, and leg ups that you're given. Because increases in value to pension plan assets for immigrant families, that share is just 17%. 1/3 of the wealth gained for Canadian-born families is because of increases in value. Political sociologist Howard Ramos of Dalhousie University in Halifax says it is not surprising to see immigrants being relatively more eager to climb the housing ladder instead of putting their money into other things. Right? Yeah, like the pension plan for older Canadians and stuff. Yeah, so small business can't find workers, says group calling for new immigrant plan. So we can't find workers. No, you can't find workers at the price you want to pay them. And you don't want to hire Canadians, native Canadians. So you're going to hire you want to hire immigrant buddies instead, right? What is this here? I did it. San Diego mother who can't read or write earns U.S. citizenship. So a mother who can't speak English, who can't read or write, who's been living here for 20 years, is given citizenship. She just had to get 6 out of 10 civic questions correct, and she's now a citizen. But that's how easy it is to be a fucking citizen in North America. Ottawa exempts Syrian refugees from loan repayment. So the federal Liberal government said Thursday that it will exempt Syrian refugees from a rule that can burden impoverished newcomers with loans of up to $10,000 upon arrival. So, you know what? The loan program that they had has like a 90% repay rate already. So it's not perfect, but it's at least recouping some of the fucking losses, even though they're probably not paying back the majority of the money that they took anyways. But yeah, Trudeau, once again, pandering to Muslims and minorities before an election and saying that, oh, yeah, we're going to forgive all of your fucking loans of, transportation and all the thousands of dollars we spend. Don't worry about it. But we're going to go after veterans and go for their money, right? But that's what they do. And then they're like, oh, immigrants, we need more immigrants. Universities spend big on recruiters and scramble for foreign students. So, we need more foreign students with the amount of money to increase the amount of money our universities make. Fuck everybody else. Fuck white students. They can go to hell. We're not going to educate them. There's fucking, what's his name? Oh, it looked like the minister, but I guess it's somebody else. What is this? Student attack student? I not your ATM? I don't even know what the fuck they're... fuck these people. Fuck the universities. They're just scams. And this is by Neil MacDonald. Why is conservative politics such a natural home for white supremacists? Neil MacDonald. Somehow, over the decades that have passed since the 60s, it's become tolerable in some circles. So, interesting how the term white nationalism has somehow begun to supplant the more honest phrase white supremacy. Both here and in the United States, everyone seems to be using it now, and it will be an election campaign topic in our general election this fall, and the American one late next year. So, he's legitimizing this guy, Trudeau's rhetoric that he's going to be using in the upcoming elections to try to smear all of his opponents as white nationalists. And now he's like, oh, why is there such a home for these white nationalists? Everyone seems to be using it now. And let's be clear, it's a euphemism. The word nationalism to most people has a virtuous whiff. Historically, it's been conflated with terms like patriotism and loyalty and solidarity with one's civic tribe. So he's saying it's it's been conflated with patriotism and loyalty, but it is. It's not conflated with it. When the word is modified with the racial adjective, though, any distinction dissolves. A white nationalist stands with white people, advocating for white prerogatives and the protection of white governance. So this is a bad thing. Oh, this is a bad thing that white people, black people, Asians, natives, they can all fight for their prerogatives and what they want, but as soon as white people do it, it's a bad thing. A white nationalist would claim that flying the Confederate flag on a state building is an expression of cultural history. So this actually has nothing to do with either, like a white nationalist and somebody with a Confederate flag are not linked, right? Some people who do like Confederate flags can be white nationalists, but a lot of it's a whole different meaning, right? It has a whole different history in America, and they're not always conflated with each other. But he's going to make these straw man arguments. Rather than racial sentiment, a white nationalist would claim, as the television host Megyn Kelly once did on Fox News, that Jesus was white. Like, no, they wouldn't claim that. Like, you could probably call me a white nationalist to some extent, and which I wouldn't really say I am or anything, but like I care about white people and I don't want to be replaced in my own country. So if that makes me one, then whatever. But she's like, Jesus was white. No, I can say he's probably Arab, right? He's probably some Arab dude. That has nothing to do with white nationalism. It has to do with her, and she probably did that on purpose. That's like controlled opposition, right? To try to get people to start saying that, and and that creates more division, more tension. It's like, he judging from the region he was from, he probably was Semitic or something like that, right? Who the fuck gives a shit? As the television host Megyn Kelly once did on Fox News, that Jesus was white, and by implication, God too. Jesus, no, that you're implying that Jesus would have been dark-skinned Sephardic Jew, not a blue-eyed, bland-faced fellow with wavy brown locks. So I wonder if you could describe other races with bland-faced, right? Would that be okay? Some like brown-eyed, bland-faced black guy with curly fucking hair, like, just see the way they write. I hate this son of a fucking bitch too. I hate everything he does. And before someone raises it, because people do, there is no comparison between white nationalism and assertions of solidarity or even superiority by minorities. See? Or even superiority. So he's even adding that. So even when black and Asians say they're better than us and superior, that's still okay and not the same as when white people do it, right? And you see, he came up with this response because, the leftists, they know what we're going to say a lot of the times too. So they're going to be like, oh, and it has nothing to do. I know you're going to say because other people can do it too. They haven't been in charge for centuries on this continent. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, just this blatant revisionist history. Why were we in charge? Because we built the fucking country. You son of a bitch. Like we were the majority. We were 99% or so of the population. Yes, of course, all of our movies, everything we did was white. It was made for white people. It was made for Europeans, for their ancestors. Nobody built something so other people can take it who have no relation to them whatsoever. No. But white nationalism is about keeping power white. Yes, there are minority groups represented among Justin Trudeau's ministers, but were all given jobs by a white guy. Like, listen to this son of a bitch. Like, God, you know what? I hope you're like the first to go among the useful idiots and shit. But like, he doesn't believe any of what this guy doesn't believe any of what he's writing. This is a propagandist. This is the shit he's writing for the CBC. It's an opinion piece, guys, but they have a lot of these fucking opinion pieces from left wingers. Not a lot from our perspective, but this far left perspective, they do. Supremacy by another name. White nationalism is, in fact, white supremacy. It's understandable that white supremacists would want to be called nationalist, but that doesn't make them any less supremacist. Whatever, just word salad, right? Just word salad nonsense. Like, yeah, sure, you could kind of lump them together in some way, but if you're saying white supremacy is white nationalism because white people don't want their homes completely overrun by other people like any other culture wouldn't want, like, imagine, he was saying in the argument, well, white people have been in charge for things for hundreds of years in this country, so, and other countries like China and India and all these other countries where it was brown or whatever people in charge for hundreds of years, is it okay then? Right? Like, is it okay? Is their nationalism okay because they're in power and they have all the power, and then all the other nationalism below them is okay, but theirs isn't? No, it's not. They're only going to have this for us and people in our countries. Only dumb idiots, retards would like listen to this shit, would buy it. Which is why, presumably, conservative politicians here and in the U.S. are expressing such anger at having the label applied to them. Like, what? What? Which is why, presumably, conservative politicians here in the U.S. are expressing such anger at having the label applied to them. Who wouldn't want it applied to them? Who, are you kidding me? You want them to admit, yeah, I'm a white supremacist, so then you could be like, see, everybody, it's a problem. They accuse their liberal opponents of planning attack ads and messaging portraying them as racist, or at the very least, opportunists chasing racist votes. They're right about that. Prime Minister Trudeau and his ministers are making concerted effort to bind conservative leader Andrew Scheer to the so-called alt-right scene, another euphemism in this country. And Democrats, newly control the House of Representatives, have convened hearings on the threat of white nationalism. The fact that Republicans excuse President Donald Trump boorish rantings, of course, makes it easy for Democrats. He eagerly hit Twitter every time an act of extremism is committed by a Muslim or a brown-skinned immigrant, but takes comparatively incidental notice when hate crimes are carried out by white Christians or non-Muslims, something that's been happening far more often in recent years. So, when the man arrested for the mosque murders in Christchurch left a manifesto praising Trump as a symbol, so yeah, the media always bringing this up, a renewed white identity and common purpose, Trump, who has said he doesn't believe his rhetoric inspires violent white extremists, further declared that the white extremism isn't really a threat, despite ample evidence to the contrary, including the assessment of his own Justice Department. So, there's a lot of people. It's hard to know with Trump, right? It's hard to fucking know with that guy because it seems like, maybe there's people within his department also kind of like working against him as well. But, I don't even know. This, of course, is also the president who said there were some very fine people in the white mob carrying torches in Charlottesville, VA, a few years ago. He proudly calls himself a nationalist without specifying what kind. Use that word. He tells his angry, overwhelmingly white base, use that word. So what do you want him to say? I'm a black nationalist? Like, you could just be a nationalist and then you could add the white and the black and stuff. You could be like a civic nationalist. Candace Owens, a conservative American activist cited by the New Zealand murderer as his greatest influence. You can see the media, you have to be so low IQ to kind of eat this stuff up because she is a black woman, but somehow she's representative of white supremacists. Told Congress recently that the whole white nationalist thing is nothing more than Democrat re-election strategy. She also once said Hitler wasn't such a bad fellow, at least until he started trying to conquer the world. So completely out of context, right? Like, what's these sleazy journalists? I'm not even a fan of her, but you took her completely out of context. Texas Rep. Louis Gomert, a Trump fanboy, was suspicious when YouTube, which was live streaming the hearing, took down hundreds of racist and anti-Semitic viewer comments, musing about whether it was all just more Democratic hate hoaxes. Steve King, who has rhetorically, see, look at all the examples he's bringing up, asks what's wrong with being a white nationalist or white supremacist, remains a proud Republican. So this was also taken out of context. And even if extremists do applaud Trump, as ask his supporters, what can he do about it? Never do they ask or attempt to answer the obvious question. Why is it that white supremacist from the neo-Nazis who threw celebratory salutes the night of his election to former KKK leader David Duke, to the Charlottesville torchbearers, to the New Zealand murderer, or Caesar Sayuk, the Florida bodybuilder who sent explosives to Trump's critics in 2018, gravitate right rather than left? So this guy wasn't even white, but he's going to be a white nationalist supremacist. Why is conservative politics such a natural home for white supremacists? Canadian conservatives might ask themselves the same question. Rather than whining about how unfair it is that liberals are associating Andrew Scheer with fake Goldie, an obvious white supremacist, a label she rejects, who proudly advocates for European identity and white identity, and who has contributed to a neo-Nazi podcast, they could instead reflect on why, in heaven's name, he appeared on her online diatribe show 2 years ago. So, or why Scheer chose to address the United We Roll Yellow Vest gang. So the media is going to call it, imagine they called like the Black Lives Matter a gang in Ottawa this year, where, yes, Faith Goldie also spoke to the crowd, as did former Conservative MP Maxime Bernier, or why he would hire as his campaign manager a former director of the far-right shock talk site Rebel Media, where Faith Goldie worked until she became too much even for them. Rep. Steve King incidentally endorsed Goldie's recent bid for mayor of Toronto. Somehow she still lost. Conservatives in Canada might also ponder why there have been so many racist and anti-gay bozo eruptions in Alberta's United Conservative Party rather than in, say, the governing NDP, or why a small Conservative senator's racist posts remain online. Yes, Lynn Bayak was expelled from the Conservative caucus for the post, which were denounced by Scheer, but how does the party attract characters like her in the first place? So all she said was like, racism isn't a huge issue in Canada, and she posted, people talking about residential schools and their experiences, and she didn't censor people's opinions about it, right? And she had to be condemned for this. The answer is that somehow over the decades that have passed since the 1960s Immigration Act, and as North America's cities have become much less white, so that's what he's kind of subtly referencing, the Immigration Act, right? It's become more okay in some circles to be a white supremacist. So it's like, because of the declining white population, people are getting more extreme. Changing the label to white nationalist obscures nothing. Abraham Lincoln, according to legend, used to ask his cabinet members how many legs a dog has if you consider a tail to be a leg. His answer, 4, because calling a tail a leg doesn't make it a leg. Yeah, but whatever. You're scum. This guy's a scumbag piece of shit. And now he's writing articles about why conservatives are linked to white supremacists. It's just totally insane. You check out the chat here. Hey Momo, nauseating. Thanks Jerry. No pretending. I said don't give up. Captain Crayon is a good one, Saint, but he does try to weaponize them best he can. Can anyone imagine if we had a white supremacist for a prime minister, and can anyone explain how that would be worse than Canada's present reality? Yeah, right. It would probably be better. According to the news report this morning, we have 11 years left before we caramelize. Been nice knowing you guys. Take care. Yeah, exactly. We're all going to die in 12 years anyways. So why does anybody care about Trump or all this increase of white nationalism in the future if, we're all going to die from climate change? It makes absolutely no sense. But, what else did I have up here? Put that up. There's that Winnipeg guy, woman. what was this here? Southdale. Yeah, that woman who died in Southdale. One sec here, guys. Oh yeah, I got to show this video because this is pretty funny. I don't know, did you guys see that video? That guy who was crying about the recent Star Wars video, and everybody was making fun of him. Here, this is the one. You guys probably seen this, but I just find it fucking hilarious. Come on, play.
Sorry about that. I'm going to turn this puppy up. There we go. And
this is funny. It's like this is just the epitome of the beta male cuck today. NPC. I don't even know if this is real.
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your find.
Tears. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, what's right, Kyle? Oh, fucking way.
Always be with you. No one's ever really gone.
What? No, never.
Oh my god.
Yes. Oh my god. How do they make this more and more epic?
Yeah. That's the state of the Western man right now in society. And that's unfortunate. It's a sad state we're in right now. Yeah, it's not real. Yeah, it didn't seem like, it doesn't seem real, but you know, it probably would be. I don't see, like, I could see somebody doing something like that nowadays, but you know, I think most geeks and nerds probably don't like the latest Star Wars movies and stuff. Like, that's the thing, they're trying to appeal to a different audience, and they don't like those white geeky males and stuff anymore. They're not trying to appeal to those people anymore. They're like, fuck you. You can go to hell. Does Hitler wore cargo shorts? Yeah, he must have. But I think I'm gonna end the stream here, guys. We're going for a little while, but like I said, if you guys haven't seen, maybe I'll share one more time just that clear, blatant evidence of YouTube manipulating my view count. So, okay, I'm gonna pause this. Hopefully it didn't fucking. Hopefully it still has the same views. Okay, 308. Sorry, guys. Okay, fuck it. Reloaded it. But whatever. You can go back and see. Hold on one sec. Well, 10 hours ago. And this is 17 hours ago. So yeah, it's actually, you can still see it here, actually. You know, this has 325 views 17 hours ago. 10 hours ago, this has 308. So, but either way, YouTube's fucking with my shit like bastards, but what are you gonna do? I don't know why they would bother removing like 15, 20 views or 30 views. It's like, who cares? Didn't do anything for the video, but I don't know. It's just some algorithm that catches, that just cuts a little bit off the top for people that they don't like or something. I have no fucking clue, but let me check out the chat here. My likes never stick on your videos. Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard from Fredrick that the likes never stick on my videos either. And this all plays towards the algorithm, and it makes the videos less likely. So everybody hit the like button if you haven't already. Hit it 2 times if you need to, or something. Sharing really helps the video as well. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and I hope you all have a happy Easter and you spend a lot of good times with your family and stuff. Take it easy, guys.